Away from the Bayelsa governorship judgment, a senior advocate of Nigeria, Tayo Yetibo, has been speaking to Law Weekly about the moves by the Senate to amend the Constitution. To this end, the Senate set up a Constitution Amendment Committee to be headed by the Deputy Senate President, Senator Ovie Omo-Agege. But Mr. Yetibo believes that beyond the ritual of amending the Constitution, there needs to be concerted efforts to enforce and make sure that the laws already in place work for the greater good of the greatest happiness of citizens.
Quite frankly, to me, it is not the form of government or the form of constitution. Very often we labored and spent so much money on constitution making. And if you cast your mind back to 1960, when we started all of this, when independence was given to Nigeria, how many constitutions? 1966, 1960, 1963, 1979, 1989, 1995, then 1999. All of this, where has it taken us to? Mind you, Britain has no written constitution and they are properly governed. So you can write 1,000 constitutions. If the operators of the constitution don't obey the constitution, what do you do? So people talk of constitution making. This is not the fault of the constitution, it is the fault of the people. It is the fault of the operators.
So are you saying that we don't need a new constitution?
No, well, given our level of development, we still need a written constitution. But I was using an example of a nation that has no written constitution, and yet everything goes smoothly in that nation. Here we have written constitutions upon constitutions upon constitutions. But where are we?
So our emphasis should be more on enforcing what we have written.
The provisions of the constitution rather than going back and back and back all over again. For example, Britain follows what you call conventions more. We know that this is the way it should be done. Nobody will go against it. Here, even when it is written, people will still dispute what is written, not to talk of what is not written.
What do you think the problem lies? Why are we not enforcing what we've written?
It's the politicians. Yeah, with respect to them, many of them are immature. Very immature. Look at what is happening of recent. People are tiring themselves and going to embassies to go and tell embassies that Supreme Court did not decide this or decide that. What do you expect the embassy to do? To bring out cane and cane people in Nigeria? So people should get themselves right. Nigeria is a sovereign nation. Why go to the embassy of a nation to go and say the court in your country did not deliver a judgment to your satisfaction?
And expect that country to maybe punish the leaders.
Look, when I saw those people who went there, I just shook my head. When they got home, who their children asked them, so Dad, what did you expect the man to do? To cane Buhari or to cane Osinbajo or to cane the Chief Justice of Nigeria? What have you got to do there?
So how should the followership insist on the politicians enforcing?
You see, the provisions are there in the Constitution. Let's take for example, when the president traveled before the amendment to the Constitution, that when the president is
traveling, it's going to be away for some time,
or is suffering from ill health, he should hand over. Do you need anybody to put it in writing? If you are leaving the country, can you just allow a power vacuum in your nation? Do you need anything to be in writing for you to know that you hand over and let somebody else continue, your vice president? But because we are not who we should be, we have to put it into writing that if you are going for a number of days, hand over to vice president. I think in a matured environment, you don't need any written provision for that. It should be taken care of by convention. If the president is traveling out of the country and is not going to be able to govern, he should hand over to his vice president. But see what Nigeria as a nation suffered throughout that period because it was not written.
And then so we made up for it and we wrote it down, and still it's not been enforced.
It's not been enforced.
So what is the solution?
That's why I say they say political immaturity. So if you go and rewrite the Constitution again, you can write it 1,000 times. And we spent a lot of money on this Constitution writing. You realize how much was spent during President Jonathan on the conference that was held? Do you know how much was spent on that? Where is it today? It's gone down the drains.
And some people have also advocated that instead of setting up another panel or conference committee, that maybe we should go back to those past ones, dust them up.
We have too many recommendations, too many reports. You have the Justice Uwais report. You have the Jonathan's conference report. All of those, what have we done with them? You want to start another one again? Spend money again? When people are dying on the street, they don't have food to eat. Hospitals are there uncared for. You want to start spending money again on constitutional making? It's just a waste of funds. Go and obey the one that has been prepared. Follow the one that has been prepared. Nigeria will be better.
But you say that the problem with not following it is that we have politically immature leaders.
Yes.
So how do we get politically mature leaders?
First of all, we can get politically matured leaders when politically matured minds take up offices.
Put themselves forward for offices.
Yes, but I'll tell you again, because the environment is not conducive to decent men to come and participate. That's why some decent men decide to stay back. Let me just stay where I am, do my work privately, enjoy myself, and see what happens. But that comes in a nation at a time that people will definitely have to stand up to say enough is enough. Let's take up the affairs, the destiny of this nation in our hands. But what we have today is below average.
So, do we need a kind of revolution now? Enough is enough?
Well, call it revolution, call it change, call it rethinking, whatever name you want to give to it. But we need to sit up as a nation. We need to rethink how we govern ourselves. We need to rethink how we handle our affairs, certainly as a nation. There's too much immaturity in the system.
Who do you think should lead that process?
All of us should be involved.
How?
That is the truth.
How?
All of us.
Somebody, there has to be a galvanizing from some place. Maybe the
Look,
National Assembly.
If you wait for somebody, yes, you could, that is the institution. But the people must also key into it. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
The people must key into it. If, for example, somebody wants to contest election and is offering you money, for God's sake, you should know that that man will go there and steal. Because nothing goes for nothing. I cannot use my money to pay you, give you maybe 10,000 naira to win your vote, and you know 10,000 naira multiplied by a number of voters. So where is that coming from? I must go there to go and recoup it. So everyone who has been paid to vote for one candidate or the other should know that what he is getting is lesser than what he is losing. And that is part of the immaturity. That look, once somebody comes to you to offer you money to vote for him, you should know that he's a thief.